no pressure, guys.
I started sobbing.
You're gonna cut around it, right?
Yeah. No, this is kept.
Hi guys, and welcome to the first video of this college majors and career series. Today I'm with my roommate Meg and our friend Katrina, who are both seniors at NYU Tisch. So in this video, we're going to be doing a deep dive into what it's like being a student at NYU Tisch, questions about student life, jobs, careers, etc. But first, do you guys want to start by introducing yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Meg. I'm 21 and I'm a senior. I'm double majoring in film and psychology, but film is my main one, and I'm from Texas.
Hi, I'm Katrina. I'm also 21. I'm a senior studying film and TV right now, and I also have a minor in digital art and design, and I'm from New Jersey.
Let's go back in time to 4 years ago. You are a senior in high school. What made you decide to apply to NYU for film and TV?
It was low-key my dream school, like my first ever dream school that I had. It might have been because of Gossip Girl, and then I also was like really interested in film, and so then I just did the like regular high school thing where you just look up like top film schools in the country, and then NYU was up there, so I was like, oh, great, that works out.
NYU was also like my dream school. I don't know why. Every time I saw NYU in like any like books I read or like TV shows, I was like, oh, I want to go to NYU. But I didn't want to go for film originally. I think I started wanting to do film after like, this is so like film girly, but I watched like Lady Bird. And I was like, oh, it's so good. Like I want to make that. And then I was like seriously thinking about it, and then I also used to make like Vine edits of like my favorite TV shows. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at editing. Maybe I can go into that. So then I applied for NYU Film, and then I got in. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do it.
What was the application process like for you guys, and what were the required components?
You have to submit like your regular application, but then with like film and a lot of the other like artistic disciplines, they all each have their own like unique portfolio that you have to make. For us, we had to like make a short film that we submitted, and then I think probably some like short essays, like kind of like creative
I think it was
questions.
Like, from what I remember, one of the essay questions was like, what piece of media impacted you the most? And I think I chose like Lady Bird. Yeah, it was like the short film, and then we had to submit a script, I think, too.
You did?
So I just submitted the script to the short film that I like submitted to that, and then I think I submitted some photography too.
Because there's like options, so I think I chose the one that where you didn't have to write a script, so I just wrote like some supplementary essay kind of thing, because at the time I did not know how to write a script.
That film that I submitted for NYU, that was like the first one I ever made.
Me too.
I didn't know how to make anything. I was like,
Me too.
I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm just gonna try it.
Wait, so what was that process like then if you guys didn't really have any experience? How'd you guys get your idea for it? How long did it take?
I don't know. I guess like even if you don't know how to do it, it's like it's something that comes naturally. I guess if it's like you're passionate about it.
Hello.
Like, sorry. Did someone knock on the door? I feel like I heard someone knock too. I'm not-
Hello?
Hi.
Hi!
Are you filming?
Wait, let me put my memory on.
Oh wait, the beaver went off.
She looks funny in the mirror.
So a bit about your process for your application
Is it
video.
on?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was I went online on YouTube and I like binged all of the like NYU accepted, USC like accepted films, and I just kind of like looked at what like it takes to get accepted and tried to like mimic.
My short film was about my mom, so like I had like a emotional connection to it, so I think it just like came naturally. My mom has like a really cool backstory, and she always grew up telling me stories and stuff immediately as soon as I knew that I needed to make a short film. That was a story that came up in my head like first, and so I just like sat her down, interviewed her, and then I wrote something like off of the interview. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I was like, it feels right, so I was just like, I'll just continue doing it.
Why did you guys ultimately commit to NYU Tisch? What were the factors that led to your decision?
Yeah, so when I got in, it was like either that or like staying in Texas, so I was pretty sure I wanted to leave.
I already knew I wanted to go to NYU, especially because I ED2 anyway. I think I was looking at the stats too, and I was just like, if I want to do film, I want to do it at least at like a school that like has a lot of resources for that.
Yeah.
And like, I think NYU Tisch is really good at resources for it. Like, it doesn't like, they don't teach you how to be like a good filmmaker, but they give you the tools, which I think is nice.
They don't teach you how to be a good filmmaker?
Well, like, Like, yes, but also, like, some of that stuff you just, like, have to have. Like, it comes from within as well. And, like, obviously it teaches you how to, like, screenwrite, and then it teaches you all, like, the equipment and stuff, which is nice, especially as someone who did not know anything.
What do you guys think are the most important things to look for in a film school?
Resources. All of, like, the intermediate and advanced production classes here, they give you, like, cameras. Like, for, like, the intermediate, you get, like, the C300s, you get, like, all the, like, the lighting kits and stuff like that. Tisch spends, like, a lot of money on all of that stuff. And then, like, the editing labs, like, on, like, the film floors, like, those are really nice. And then as film students, we all get Adobe Creative Cloud as well. So there's, like, a bunch of free, like, resources that we can use.
A perk of NYU is the alumni circle. I think if you're looking for like a film school, I think you want to find somewhere that has like good community, or at least like strong alumni community that has like passion for that school that you're going to, because it's like all about connections at the end of the day. And so I think you want a program that really emphasizes being like collaborative with your classmates.
It's like when you meet someone else and they're like, oh, I go to NYU, you're like, oh, you go to NYU too? Like, you get excited about it. You get more excited about it, and then you talk more and stuff, so I feel like that opens more doors.
What are your tips for getting in to NYU? What makes your application stand out?
I don't really know. Should I look into this camera?
Yeah, or it's not even, okay, hold up. Scratch this whole thing. Do you think for film it's like your GPA matters, your essay matters?
No, because, not no. But, like, not as much because, I think for Tisch specifically also, it was SAT optional.
Really?
I think starting our year, it was SAT optional. So it was, like, very much heavy on, like, the portfolio.
I think another thing to make you stand out is just to seem well-rounded. Obviously, if they're asking you, like, film prompts, talk about film, but, like, something that NYU specifically really looks for is, like, someone who can tell a good story and like has life experience and stuff. So one of my professors said if he sees things on your application like you worked a part-time job or you did like this volunteer thing, at the end of the day that's something that he looks for because it just means that you have more interesting stories to tell. They're really looking for like, I feel like you as a person and what your artistic like vision might be. So I think let your personality come through.
For the film that you make, are there any things that you should avoid?
I think what they value most is can you tell something meaningful in the span of like whatever the limit is, like 10 minutes. And so whether that's no dialogue or like a music video, can you tell us a story? And even if you don't have dialogue, it's like even more impressive if you can tell a story with just visuals, because they really harp on that like in actual school.
What do you think are like common things that might get people rejected?
I did watch a lot of the rejected genre.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did? I did.
Like,
I
do you
don't
notice
know.
any trends or like anything your teachers might have said?
I think there are a lot of people who like put a lot of money into their like application films, like really great camera, really great like resources and tools and stuff, but like an iPhone movie can do just as well, and that's not really what they're looking for. And so I feel like if there are people who like have something that looks like stunning, there's still some of those that, and like super professional, those can get rejected if you're not really telling a story but just trying to kind of like flex how like professional it looks, because that's not really what they're looking for. And they know that at the high school level like a lot of us don't have access or like the knowledge of that kind of stuff yet.
And it's just like flashy without substance, probably.
But if you do flashy with substance, then you're fine.
Yeah.
You're good. Go ahead. Oh, there are people who like come in with like experimental styles and stuff too. And so that's not, it's not saying that you can't go like experimental, but still have it be about something. And it doesn't have to, maybe if it's experimental, it doesn't have to have like a solid beginning, middle, and end, but at least have it be about something.
It's like film's still at the end of the day about storytelling. So like, if you just have like a little breadcrumb that someone can follow, then I think you're good.
How would you describe NYU Film and TV as a major? How does it stand out from other majors at NYU? What are the people in classes like? What's the general vibe? Sorry, threw a lot of questions at you.
When I talk to like my friends who aren't in film and TV, some stuff is like so like basic to us. It's like, oh yeah, I have to do like equipment transfer like on Tuesday. which I do. I did an equipment transfer, so we had to go from like Tisch to like Manhattan Mini, and then we had to go to like these apartments and stuff, and then like other people not in the major would be like, oh my god, like that's so cool. And I'm like, it really isn't, because it's actually so time consuming and I kind of hate it. But when I was doing equipment transfer, I had a friend come with me to like help, and I was like explaining to him like, oh yeah, she's like my AD, and then I was like, oh yeah, and then my like DP, and then like my like whatever, blah blah blah, and like all these acronyms. And he was like, it sounds really cool, I just don't know what it means. Film majors kind of have this like language that they like speak basically that like other people find cool, and I'm just like, oh, I feel like sometimes I sound a little pretentious when I'm saying that, but I guess it's kind of cool.
As a non-film person, I feel like it's super hands-on, like way more than other majors.
Oh yeah, super hands-on.
And like super collaborative.
Because like other majors don't really have like that production class and like those like long hours where you're together. Because like production classes are like 9:30 to like 5 basically, which kind of similar to like Tisch drama. Tisch drama studio classes. By having these super long classes, and then because the film and TV class is so like small, people like get to know each other quickly, and then so it's very much about networking to get to know and work with a lot of people, which I think is super nice.
Do you end up working with the same people a lot over the years, or would you say like there are a lot of people in NYU Film and TV?
There's a good amount. I think for each class it's around 200.
200? That's so little.
So.
Wait, 200 students per grade?
It's really not that much, because like that
small.
freshman year we get split into like an audio semester and a visual semester. So like half of us take sound image, and then half of us take frame and sequence, and then we switch. It's like a small class. You do end up working with the same people a lot. Your name gets around by just like word of mouth. So it's like Meg did sound for like a lot of people, and like I just like edited for a lot of people as well.
What are the popular subcategories or like areas of study under film? For example, directing, cinematography. Or do you get a chance to explore all of those things? Or is it like you mainly kind of narrow into one?
You get a chance to explore basically everything. They make you start with learning sound and learning camera first. The first 2 years are quite structured. Like everyone has to take the same like production classes, but then in the last 2 years, that's when you can really kind of hone in on something that you like and take all the classes for it. But that doesn't mean that you can only like choose one track. Even if you take all the sound classes because you're really into it, you still have room to like learn about camera or take writing classes and stuff. So it's pretty flexible. There's people who only like post-production. Like Katrina has really latched on to like editing and stuff, and so she's taken a lot of those classes and now doesn't really take a lot of the like production classes where you actually make the films and stuff. And so you can stop doing that your junior year. If you know like writing or directing isn't for you, but you just have a special like skill that you like to do, you can just stick to that too.
What are some of the struggles and the hardest parts about being an NYU Film and TV?
Time management at first, for me at least. I was low-key shocked that we had such long classes, and for some reason, especially like freshman and sophomore year, they love those 6:20 to 9 classes. Like those kill me. Like the nighttime ones.
Yeah, time is like a big one. We have our 9 to 5 classes if you end up choosing production. Then you have your 6 to 9 classes, which are a lot of those like skill-based ones. So you could be in class from like 9 to 9. And then you also have to do like your general requirements too. If you choose the production lifestyle and you like really get into sets and like doing a bunch of like people's like shoots and stuff, then it's like your weekend is gone too, because they're like 12-hour shoots like 3 days a week. It's pretty tiring. It's pretty intense when you get done with the tiring school week and then you're just on set. But it's like a kind of fun, kind of busy, but
it's like if you like it, it's rewarding.
You just have to keep a balance. Like give yourself a weekend every once in a while. That's what I've learned.
You should learn to say no. Learn to say no to sets.
Do you guys ever have any doubts towards majoring in this? Would you say that is a struggle ever?
I don't think I've ever had doubts about majoring in it. I will probably always think that I made the right choice majoring in film, because I am like happy with like my experience here, like the people I've met, like the friends I've made. I think the doubt more comes like in myself, like
as a creative.
as a creative, I'm just like, oh, like obviously everyone's thinking the same thing, like, oh, what if I'm not good enough and stuff, and then like I always like end up comparing myself to like classmates who like are doing other things, and like you can't really compare yourself to other people because you have like different life experiences, you're at different levels and stuff, so you can't really do that, because like they can never do something that you can do, and then you can never do something that they can do, like vice versa, stuff like that. But it's still like it's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You know?
Ugh, imposter
Yeah,
syndrome.
I feel like imposter syndrome is like something everyone goes through, at least like the first 2 years. And it's always kind of there, but it definitely gets a lot better. I think another like kind of stressful thing is career. We don't really have an outline of what we're supposed to do in college to get to postgrad. Whereas like someone in Stern has more of a regular track of like, okay, I'm gonna do these internships, then I'll do this big one, hopefully get a return offer.
Yeah.
And there's these like paths that people go down, but with film, it's like you can freelance, you can work for a company, you can kind of just not have a job either, and just kind of like do whatever you want. And so I think not knowing that for a really long time can be a bit stressful.
Alternatively, what are some highlights or your favorite parts?
The people that I've met and like become friends with. I met Meg the second day. We were in like some type of like
Meet cute.
it was
a Tisch tour.
It was a Tisch tour,
Oh.
yeah. Like it's a Tisch tour, so we were in the same group. And then so like we met and then we were just like talking throughout the tour and then she was like, I don't get like gelato afterwards.
Oh,
so we went
at
and got
Marino?
Yeah, at Marino.
Oh.
So we went and got gelato afterwards and then we were just like talking to each other and we were like, oh my god, we're like the same person.
Wait, that's so cute.
And then after that, I met like basically the rest of our friend group like through Meg that second day. They're like still my friends now. The most rewarding thing from NYU is like, I mean like obviously like the skills I learned and stuff like that and like my portfolio that I come out with, but like the friends I've made, I think those are like lifelong friendships. I've like spent my entire like college career with them. Like I've basically grown up with them.
It's like really fun because those same friends, you also get to work with them.
Yeah.
And like post grad too, like when we all keep like making films or whatever we end up doing, we're all gonna hire each other.
Yeah.
We're all gonna still work together. So it's like fun because it's guaranteed that you guys can be in each other's lives in some way, like post grad.
All of our professors always say that. They're always like, they do that thing where they're like, look around like to the left and to the right of you. Like, these are gonna be your coworkers for the next like 30 years.
Oh,
like you're
wow.
gonna keep hiring each other and stuff like that. But it's like it's literally true.
I feel like it's rare in like other academic majors to get the chance to get so close to your classmates. At least the majors that I've been in, it's like you show up to class, like you don't speak to anyone because it's like a lecture or you know whatnot, and then everybody just leaves after, and that's that. And you finish the class, you don't even know their names. Like that's quite common. So I feel like that is a really great thing.
I think another thing I appreciate about NYU that I wasn't expecting is that Tisch Film isn't really that competitive. Like, obviously, there are certain things that there's limited resources, or, like, the real world is pretty competitive. Like, not everyone gets to make their film, not everyone gets the money, but, like, in this program, at least, they kind of give everyone an equal opportunity to do whatever you want, make the films that you want, and, like, really, really harp on, like, working together. So I feel like that's nice, rather than, like, pitting people against each other.
Yeah, it's true. They don't pit people against. They're always like, this is like a community. Like it's very like network based. So.
Yeah, because in my like thesis class right now, our professor keeps saying like there's 15 of us in this class, and you each are like all making your own films, but like we as a class are like making 15 like films together.
Something is in the corner.
If you guys could go back in time and major in something else, would you?
No.
What are some popular minors or double majors, if any, that people like to pair or like makes a good pair?
Cam's one. The Cam psychology.
Oh,
EMT.
yeah. So a lot of people minor in this thing called CAMS. It's like child, adolescent, mental
Psychology?
studies or something.
Studies.
They're basically like the easiest science general like requirement that you can take to get them all out there, and so people just end up taking enough classes to fulfill a minor through that. That tends to be a really popular one, but besides that, like BEMT.
Yeah, it's like business, entertainment,
media,
technology, right? Yeah. A lot of people minor in that one. There's also like the dual Stern Tisch degree, but that one's a lot more selective. I think they only accept like 15 people per year.
Plus it's really tough, probably.
It's tough. Yeah.
So, but I feel like something businessy or something that you just happen to have taken enough classes to do it.
Oh, a lot of people do producing. Well, actually, no, that's for non-film and TV. A lot of non-film and TV people do producing minors.
True.
Yeah.
The BEMT minor is also really cool because you get to take classes between schools. You get to take classes with CERN and with Tisch and what else? It's a cross-school minor, and a lot of the classes are they have 2 credit options, so you can tack that onto like your normal schedule. without an extra charge. So they say you don't need to go to film school to start a film career. What are your thoughts on that?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You definitely don't have to. These are all kind of skills that you can learn on your own. Like all the technical stuff you can learn on your own. I feel like to make it you have to have like that storytelling skill. A lot of people just go into freelance to start PAing on sets and stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree. For Premiere, like what I used to edit, I learned that off of YouTube, like tutorials. So I didn't like learn that here. Like other stuff I learned like cameras and stuff, but there is a lot of the technical stuff that you can learn online. Low-key, you're paying for like the networking. You're paying to like meet the people because that's kind of how you start working on sets, like getting to know each other, and then like people will hire you like post-grad. They're like, oh, Meg was like a really good like so-and-so in school, so I think that like I want to hire her for this like full feature like movie or something like that.
Also, I think going to film school, you know you will graduate out of it with at least like a few finished
Yeah,
projects.
yeah,
under
you have like
your
a
belt.
portfolio to show.
Do you think the name NYU really makes you stand out in terms of job prospects?
I don't know about job prospects, but it's like, at least for like family members, when you say like, oh, like I'm at NYU, they're like, oh, you're at NYU.
There's some
or even
clout.
like some like strangers sometimes, even if it's like very like minimal clout, it's like a little bit of it, you know?
What is a typical week in the life for you guys? Or day in the life?
I feel like if it's like production classes, like that's the day, the production class. It's because it's like the 9 to 5, and then afterwards you like nap to like recuperate. But
What about like a week in the life? A week in the life, assuming you're working on set, because you guys do go on set a lot, right?
I will say it's never been like a really jam-packed like Monday through Friday like classes for me. I've kind of found some way to like lighten that pressure. I have like pretty medium days, except I guess the main one of the week is your production class, which is really long, and that might be 1 day a week or 2 days, and so that kind of is the most important thing of the week for me. And then set starts on Friday to sometimes Monday, so you go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, depending on the set. Like every year those hours for sets just keep getting longer. Like freshman year you'll be able to bust out projects in like 2 or 3 hours with your friends and your roommates, and it's all fine.
Like overnight.
Yeah, but then when you get to like junior and senior year, it's like 12-hour shoots, 4 days a weekend, sometimes in the weekdays too, sometimes they're overnight. So that's pretty draining. So I think finding a way, if you have a lot of homework or you have other classes that are really hard, you have to fit in all that work in the week because you don't really have time in the weekend to spend on that. You just want to kind of go home and sleep.
Yeah, I'd say my schedule's pretty similar. Yeah, I only have like my gen ed and then like my minor classes, and then my like big day is like the production class days, and then on the weekends if I am doing like a set, they're like maybe 1 or 2 days, I think. They're like, kind of draining, so I think like you need like at least 1 day to recuperate. You really should not be doing like sets weekend after weekend. It's nuts. Like, you should not be doing that because it's like draining, and you need some time to like for yourself, like self-care and stuff, because like set with your friends is fun, but it's also just like it's really exhausting.
What do you guys like about being on set?
Crafty.
I've gotten to the point where I have started to get more selective about the people that I work with or the projects that I work on. So when you choose like projects to work with your friends or people that you like really admire their work and stuff, I feel like it can be really inspirational, and it can also just be really fun. At the end of the day, like as serious or stressful as it is, you're just making movies and you're able to like hang out with your friends and crack jokes. And I think the most fun experiences have been like going to Jersey and like staying in a cabin with all my friends, and or like getting to go to like other places, and it just kind of feels like you're on a mini working vacation with your friends. So it's really nice.
Basically just like a really long, it's like a 12-hour play date.
Like sleepovers and stuff like that. It can be fun.
I feel like being on your set last time, like the atmosphere was just so cool.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I liked like my cast and crew. Like everyone was super chill. Like no one was like we were keeping on schedule and we were keeping on time, but it was fun. Like we still were able to goof around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Yeah, and it's like super cool being with a bunch of people that have a common goal and like share the same like, amount of interest in what you're trying to make.
I think it's always so cute when it's like after you finish a take that's like a really cool shot, you like play it back, everyone like gathers around, and then if there's like that one like shot where they're like everyone goes ooh, it's like it's such a good feeling.
Yeah. Versus other group projects that like other majors might do, like you come out of it with like a film or a movie to
and then,
watch.
like, everyone can add it to their reel, not just like yourself.
Yeah, and so it's not like we made this slideshow that
we're
gonna present, but like we made a movie.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool.
What are the areas that you guys hang out most on campus, or where do you guys spend most of your time? Film related.
Oh, film. Oh, you're like in the sound suites. Like, so you
But I don't know if I would say that's hanging out with people.
Oh, like where? What are the spaces that a film student is in?
Yeah, I feel like you can find a lot of your friends, especially like in that peak, like projects are due kind of season. Like everyone's in like the editing labs or the suites, and they're all like working away on their projects. So I feel like you can always like bump into someone there. I guess another place is you can find a lot of people like in the lounges or like coffee shops who are all working, having like a producer meeting or writing their script or something. If I go to school, I know I'm gonna see like at least one person that I know.
And there's like, is it the 11th floor or the 10th floor where it's like those circle tables with like the college, or is it the 9th floor?
Oh yes,
It's like the 9th floor where like you walk in and like there's just so many groups of people meeting or having like a producer's meeting or like a director's meeting or something like that.
Yeah,
or the
basement.
Yeah, the basement too.
People sleep in there.
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people in the basement. Yeah.
A lot of people congregate in the basement, the 9th floor. Like there's 4 main like film and TV floors where I feel like you can find a lot of people just out and around. Yeah.
So now I want to ask you guys a little bit about your freshman year and your senior year. So how would you describe freshman year in a few words? What was it like transitioning?
Freedom. Say freedom.
What about like having no background, I guess, in film to just suddenly being like, you know, the film?
It's definitely a little daunting, I think, for me at least, because I still remember like when I was in frame and sequence, there was just one class where we did like a tech and we were like learning how to do like the cameras, how to set up like the lights and like the little bouncy things to like bounce light off of, and I was like, I like literally stood there. I was like, oh, like what is happening? Like they brought out like the grip gloves, and I was like, what is this? I'm like, why do we have gloves? And it was like I learned like so much that day, but it was definitely like a little bit overwhelming. At least the group that I was in, like there was another classmate of mine who like already knew all this stuff, and like they were just like doing it, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm supposed to know this stuff already. So it's like a little bit daunting, but then like you get the hang of it, like you learn, and it's like even if there's like other people who know it, there's a lot more other people who don't know it. So like you can just do it together and like figure it out.
Yeah. I think there is a bit of a learning curve, especially with like equipment and stuff, with people who know it. But equipment is equipment. Anyone can learn it. So at the end of the day, like I think I found out that, yeah, like you said, there's so many more people who didn't know what they were doing versus knew. But the people who know, their voices just seem louder. So it just feels like there's more of them.
That's so true.
And then I remember like I was really intimidated. Like the first set that I like was a production assistant on freshman year, which is like a requirement, was like a junior year like music video. And kind of every year that I've seen the year ahead of me, I'm always like, oh, I definitely do not know as much as them. I will not be this prepared next year. But then next year rolls around and somehow you're just able to do it. And I feel like every year has a slight learning curve, especially like sophomore to junior year. There's like a huge jump in like independence and everyone kind of knowing what they're doing. But you eventually follow along.
Even like junior to senior year for me at least, like it's like you're still learning, because I remember working like on your set last year, like fall semester last year, the music video, and like you were doing all these budget things, you were like equipment and stuff, and then you were like doing like equipment transport and stuff, and I just remember thinking, I was like, damn, I could not do that. I was like, there's no way, like that's so tough. And then like I did it this semester and I was like, holy crap, I can't believe I did that. I was like, it's like, it wasn't easy, but like it's like easier than I thought, and I was like, I didn't think that I'd be able to do it, even like that first day that I was in the production class. But then like now that like I finished everything, like we've wrapped on everything, I'm like, whoa, like we actually like did it, like we pulled it off.
Like there's just baby steps.
Yeah, it's like whatever you think that you can't do, like you're gonna end up doing it anyway, so it's fine.